Forget Abbey Road, today we're talking about Danny the Street. Welcome to the Oblivion Bar, a safe haven for all DC comic fans. I'm your host, Khalid Hill, and today we're shining a special spotlight on another LGBTQ character from DC Comics, Danny the Street. They made their first appearance in Doom Patrol 35 by Grant Morrison, and they also just recently showed up in the Doom Patrol TV series airing on DC Universe. Guys, what was your favorite part of this book? What are you thinking of this book so far, Ethan?
I really like the book. It's definitely Doom Patrol. It's super weird. It's way out there. Yeah. I love that instead of focusing on the Doom Patrol and then they run into Danny the Street, this story is about Danny, and the Doom Patrol just happens to come in at some point.
Yeah, I hadn't read a whole lot of Doom Patrol. You know, I've seen bits and pieces, but, you know, sitting down and reading it, I thought it was really good. I enjoyed it. The level of sarcasm in this book is just awesome. That spoke to me personally.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. It's been a great book so far. I was recently introduced to Doom Patrol via the television series, so I think even though we jumped in, like, kind of in the middle of the run, it still had a good continuous story. It wasn't too difficult to follow along or anything. Granted, I have a little bit of the background from watching the show, but I think it was cool to see the adaptations between the comic and the show as well.
Yeah, and that's exactly the same for me. I didn't know about the Doom Patrol until they came out with the Doom Patrol TV series, and this book, I love how it is so weird. It is different. It is out there. It's funny, but it also has its very real moments, and I think they do a magnificent job translating that to the TV series. And the book looks fantastic too. So what was your favorite panel in this book, Joe?
My favorite had to be the finger guns. Nowhere just showed up. There's like blank, 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 and everyone's just dying. And yes, that's sad. I'm sorry, but
everybody's just getting finger banged.
It was just, everyone was dead.
Do we have to bleep that?
It's already in it. It's staying. What was your favorite panel, Ethan?
I really like anything with Mr. Jones in it, but especially his first appearance. He walks into this like 50s style sitcom house. Honey, I'm home. You see someone hit the laugh track button, and then he just goes on to be one of the most awful men.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Oh yeah, no, I'm right there with you. I really loved and hated this character, but my favorite panel was when his wife is cooking for his boss and wife to come over, and she cooks the wrong thing, and he gets pissed and just stabs her eye out. And I'm just like, oh, it was just crazy. It was wild.
It messed me up pretty good.
It's a good thing there's a laugh track, or otherwise it would have been really scarring.
Yeah. The weird thing too is he's like, wait, what is this? It smells delicious. And then when he hears what it is, he's like, no, this isn't what I wanted.
Then he goes and fixes it. He's like, oh, I have a solution. And he just gives her glasses that have googly eyes and they're bouncing around. And she's like, much better.
I see so fine now.
Cue laugh track.
What was your favorite scene, Robbie?
My favorite panel, just because I thought it fit the Doom Patrol style really well, was when it talked about like the delirium box. It was just a one full page thing. It's like, what is the delirium box? What does it do? Is it a corner? Is it a cube? Who knows? And the way the perspective looks, it looks kind of like it's just a corner being held up in a hand as well as the cube. And I thought it fit really well. It was just quirky and funny, and I enjoyed it.
I like it. I like it. Well, I don't think there's anything weird about what's coming next, but Joe, tell us what you brought us to drink today.
Today I brought West Sixth Transylvania Tripel. It's a Belgian-Style triple ale. Transylvania is a university here in Lexington. It's a private university that's really, really close to West Sixth Brewing. My brother went there, and he actually used to walk there. It's like 4 blocks, he told me. He was like, yeah, you can just walk there, get drunk, come back, it's great. So, because of things like that, and so many students went there, they wanted to highlight that university, and so they have the Transy Triple, as everyone calls it.
Fitting, very fitting.
It's a really smooth drink. It's 9%. You get a lot of malts, but it's not necessarily really bitter or anything. It's pretty silky smooth, light drink.
Yeah, I totally agree. For being a 9% beer, and it just doesn't seem like a 9% beer.
No.
It's very smooth. The Belgian-Style, I think, fits very well. It's light. It doesn't seem like, you know, you would get too drunk off one or two of these, but they're pretty strong, and I kind of like that, so.
What else is there to say? I really like this beer. You guys should buy it.
Yeah, every time.
Shameless plug! Shameless. Thanks for that nice wink to the audience. Okay, guys, getting back to the book. Morrison writes a lot on sexual identity. How do you think he does with talking about and depicting this subject in the book, Robbie?
Yeah, so I thought it was really interesting because not only do you have Danny, who's a trans street, but you also have Rebus, which I had to go and look up because in the show it's Larry Traynor. And I was like, well, is this a different character? And at one point, Rebus is getting painted, and they're like, yeah, I just wanted to, you know, change up my style a little bit. And Jane says she and he as well, as far as pronouns.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So it's S, and then you have your slash, and then he. So,
I totally missed that.
Yeah.
Like, I read completely over that.
So I was like, oh, that's interesting, because I'm pretty sure Larry is considered a he in the show.
Yeah.
It turns out it's actually an intersex being between Larry Traynor, the negative man, and some woman, actually, that I can't remember.
Her name was Eleanor.
Yes. Yes, I believe that's correct.
So negative man is actually negative they or them or
Well,
person.
Yeah, so I think negative man might be still considered a man, but the combination of all three of them is one being. It makes it a they.
Which is Rebus.
Yes, which
Yeah.
is Rebus.
Got it.
I like them so much better now.
That's so much better.
What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I think they did a really good job of representing the community. I think they, like Danny and his Dannyzens, they were all just out to have a good time. Like, they all seemed very happy, they were very carefree, they were living life to the fullest, and I liked that. You know, it represented them as how they should be represented people.
Yeah, and I think that it was one of the most
Poor
important.
streets, I guess.
Yeah.
Can't leave out the streets.
I think that was one of the most important messages to me, is that they had this safe place to be who they truly are. I mean, you have so many people in the LGBTQ community that, you know, they at one point were closeted. They didn't feel safe until they found a place or people that they belong to. And there's still so many people who just haven't found that yet. And I believe that this book really encourages us to seek and be a safe space for all people, no matter who they are, what their preferences are.
That's
Yes.
why Danny the Street could be anywhere.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we should find Danny the Street in every city.
Yeah.
That's the dream.
That's a good point.
Yeah, and I mean, I really liked how it discussed the whole conversation of just people need to be people and people need to be accepted. And you know, for being from 1990, I know that's not that long ago, but that was a very different time than what we're talking about right here, right now. And I really like how Grant Morrison brought up the topic. He knew he couldn't just be, hey, you all need to accept these people. He had to do it in a different way. He did it through humor. Mm-hmm. You know, he made fun of parts, and he made fun of the hyper-masculine, which I really appreciated. And, you know, the dominant male figure and everything like that. And I think he did a really good job bringing up the conversation.
Yeah, no, I love how Morrison just brought so many lively characters to this book. I mean, the book is just full of them. So, Ethan, who was your favorite character in this book?
I gotta go back to Mr. Jones. I mean, he's just perfect. He's so well done.
He's perfectly horrible.
Yeah, he's the best villain. And by that I mean he's the worst villain.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
No, I agree with you. He was the standout character for me in this book because he just constantly was trying to throw down everything that was abnormal and trying to set himself up as this superiorly normal guy, but he was the weirdest person in the book. And as much as I hated him for his ideals, he was just a perfectly written character. I thought Morrison was genius for making him. What about you, Joe? Who is your favorite character in the book?
So I really like Sarah. I thought she was really, really cool. She was there. She was like, "Oh my God, Danny, you're back. I'm so happy to see you." And Danny's sitting there talking to her in whatever language you want to say he communicated with her. And, you know, she took a bullet for him. I mean, I would consider her the epitome of what an ally should be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think Mr. Jones was probably the biggest standout character, but I want to give a special mention to the Men from Nowhere, who I also thought were written hilariously and so well. Yeah, they already talked about the invisible finger guns and things like that, but the fact that they all had to speak in the acronym Nowhere every single time I thought was hilarious. And I also want to know, like, they have, like, script written on half of their faces. I was trying to figure out what that was from, and I thought that was another, like, interesting mystery to their character.
You might have to look that up later.
Yeah, I'll probably have to look it up.
For sure, for sure. Now, we are all big fans, almost all of us, big fans of the Doom Patrol TV series on DC Universe. So, how do you guys think that this book compares to the show, or vice versa? Robbie?
I think compares very well. I think coming from seeing the show first to maybe a little bit biased since this was a run prior to that, I really like, they seem that they've kept a lot of the same consistencies within or between the two, but they're definitely their own separate stories, and I think it definitely helps because Doom Patrol, it's so weird, it's so quirky, you can take it in so many directions.
Yeah.
I'm glad that the show is going in a slightly different direction, but staying true to a lot of the characters, I think.
Mm-hmm. No, I totally agree. I think that because they have such great material to go off of, it was not hard for them to depict the weirdness, but also to incorporate so much backstory and emotion and, you know, trauma that the characters have been through. I appreciate all of it, from the funny to the seriousness of it. This specific episode with Danny Street, my favorite part was the Peeping Tom? Was it?
Yeah, Peeping Tom's Perpetual Cabaret.
Yeah, Peeping Tom's Perpetual Cabaret, where Larry Traynor, aka Negative Man, gets on stage and does karaoke. Not karaoke, he lip syncs, and it is awesome. He sings People Like Us by Kelly Clarkson, who I love. Kelly, if you're watching this, I freaking love you. Anyway,
Yikes.
No, she's my favorite. But anyway, no, it was just awesome. It was moving. I've listened to it 1,000 times on YouTube. It's great. What do you think, Ethan?
What do you think the chances are that Kelly Clarkson is watching this?
Dude, I'm going to at her on Twitter. I'm going to just blow her up until she responds to this, because it was awesome.
What are you going to do if she does? Like, I want you to show us what you're going to do if she actually responds to that.
I will show you off camera.
Okay.
Sorry, guys. Alright, I'm going to bring us back. So, yes, you guys are exactly right. They did a really good job in the show of taking what they had with the book and representing it well, but not just keeping it panel for panel. Mm-hmm. Right? So I think, you know, if you like the show and you like what they did with Danny the Street, then you'll like this story, but there's still something else to get from it, and vice versa.
For sure, for sure. Well, we're all big fans of the show and this book. If you want to jump in and know what this book is all about, I will include a link where you can buy this book in the description below. But that wraps up our show today, guys. If you like this video, make sure you click that little thumbs up. Also, if you want to catch us weekly as we upload, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the little bell so you can be notified of when those videos come out. And you can follow us on all social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, at Oblivion. Question of the week. Where does Danny the Street rank amongst DC's weirdest characters? Make sure you leave your answers in the comment below. And until next time, we'll catch you at the Oblivion Bar.
A large fresh orange juice, please.